Alright, so I've been getting a lot of requests to do a top 10 video, a 2017 video, or just a review of 17 video, and we're going to do that. And because of that, I had to put together a list. I put a lot of time, thought, and effort into it because obviously this hobby means a lot to me. So I really took my time putting the list together. So in order to do that, I had to basically go through all of my videos for the past year. So I have reviewed pretty much every single figure that I've bought in the past 12 months. So I knew this video was coming. I could simply look back, see which ones I like, check my reviews, maybe watch a couple of them over, and put this list together for you. And when you do that, it really puts things in perspective. So as a New Year's resolution for myself, and maybe you don't think that you have a problem, but after putting this list together, I realized that this is a little bit more than a hobby. This is definitely an addiction. I'm going to put these numbers together. They're almost unbelievable, but if you don't believe it, you can literally go through all of my videos throughout the year and be like, oh my God, he's right. So on this, I've basically looked at all the action figures that I've bought in the past 12 months. It's roughly about 315 action figures. Hopefully you guys aren't buying that many because that's definitely a problem. If you add all that up, it's roughly about, considering some figures are $10 and some figures are $200-300. So if you kind of estimate it, round it off, I came up with $8,800 in 1 year. That's a problem. I thought that I was spending anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, but now that I do a YouTube channel, I realize that I'm spending a lot more. That kind of hit me a little bit harder than I was expecting. Then I go, well, let me break it down and see where it goes from there. So you take that, divide it by 12, and it's basically $750 a month. Okay, my truck payment was like $700. That's paid off. But it's just like, wow, like toys cost as much as a truck. So you got to really figure, how much do these things mean to you? Obviously, they better mean a lot to you. And you're like, okay, well, there's 365 days a year. So how much do I spend on action figures a day? You break it down a little bit farther, and it's $25 a day. That number I can somewhat live with. That number is kind of acceptable for some reason. It's a smaller number, but then I look at my life and I go, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I love dirt bikes, action figures, video games. So my spending, there's a lot of things that I don't spend money on. Say if you're a guy that goes to the bar every day and you spend like $25 at the bar, which there's nothing wrong with that. But basically you got nothing to show for it but a bad liver. At least at the end of the day here, I have action figures to show for it. Are they worth what I paid? Absolutely not. Will they ever be? Probably not. But let's just say that I spent $9,000 a year. They're probably at least worth $5,000. So I got something. So while I'm putting this list together, I was thinking, should I do a top 10? Should I do this, and just looking at other YouTube channels, and I'm not knocking anybody's channel or anything, I don't get any of these action figures for free. I actually bought every single one of them. Yes, it would be nice if I did, but I don't. So when I'm looking at other people's collections and YouTube channels and whatever, and they do a top 10 list, and I look at how many figures they got throughout the year, and it's like, well, I don't think that they got as many figures as I got. So in order for me to do a top 10 list, I don't think it's fair to you, fair to me, or fair to these figures, because I think I've bought a lot more figures. So instead of top 10, we're going to do top 21. Why is it 21? Just because when I was going through all my videos, I thought there was 21 figures that needed to be on this list, and that's what we're going to check out. Okay, so I did put them in order. We're going to start at 21, and we're going to go up to first place. I'm going to start off with this DC Collectibles Poison Ivy Bombshell thing. And I'm not really into the Bombshell thing, which is, if you saw my review, a lot of people didn't like it because they said I didn't really like the Bombshell thing. But this figure, it just really stands out. I didn't want to get any of these. I saw this one. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, and I'm really glad that I did. I think she's great. And maybe if you don't have this figure, like, I highly recommend every single one of these figures on my list. Let's get to the next one. Alright, so coming up to number 20 on my list is this DC Multiverse Steppenwolf. And this thing, not a big fan of Multiverse, but when they come to build the figures, I actually think they do a really good job. This thing, if you actually look at this, if you look at my review, or you look at this thing up close, tons of detail. It really is a good action figure. The likeness is basically spot on from the movie, and I think they did a great job, and I'm really happy to have this figure in my collection. Alright, so number 19, we have this Marvel Legends Hasbro Dazzler, and you're thinking, why is this Dazzler? Well, for one, she's basically a brand new action figure. Like, a lot of this is like a one-off sculpt that they can only use on her. Dazzler is a character that I've always wanted in my toy collection. We finally got her, and when they give us Dazzler, they gave us the exact costume that I've always dreamed of. I do like the silver costume, but this is a really good, it just, to me, it's like a perfect action figure. I'm really glad that they did it, and I think that it definitely deserves to be on my list. Okay, so now when it comes to NECA, I basically think that they're either one of the best or the best toy companies out there. The thing that sucks about NECA for me is basically they just got like Aliens and Predator, at least for the lines that I collect. And it's with Aliens and Predator, they're basically the same figure that you already have, slightly redone, slightly repainted. And that's why he's so far down on the list. It's because he's a great figure, but he's not that different from 50 other Predators that I have on the shelf. But he's really good. Hopefully NECA will pick up some new lines. Okay, now you're looking at this Santa and you're going, what the heck? How did this Santa get on this guy's list? For one, I don't just collect Marvel Legends and Mezco and SH Figure Arts. I collect a lot of stuff. Other stuff is interesting to me because if all you collect is Marvel and DC, I don't know, your collection just gets a little flat. So this Santa for Night for Christmas, it's just, he's a little too tall, but other than that, he's basically a perfect action figure and an action figure that I have wanted in my collection for so long. So for them to finally give me that, he had to be on the list. Alright, so this was always a hole in my collection. And Marvel Select finally filled that hole. And when they did fill it, they filled it with a figure that was big. Like, this guy is supposed to be massive. You see he's standing right about 9 inches tall, or 9 inches tall. He also comes with this Odin head, which the head is definitely way too big for the figure because you figure this is like a suit of armor. He looks a lot better with the helmet on, but if I display it that way, then I don't know what to do with that head. But I'm just really glad that they did it. It's a must-have in your collection if you're collecting Marvel Legends or just Marvel in general. I think he's perfectly in scale and fits right in. He's definitely a must. Alright, then you have this Clayface from DC Collectibles from the Batman animated line, 6-inch. And Clayface is one of my favorite DC Batman villains. Like, he's just so cool to me. And then when they did this, they gave you multiple arms, multiple heads. I think they nailed it. They nailed the likeness. I like the size of him. I basically like everything about him. He's a perfect action figure, and he was a must to put on my tops. Alright, so I subscribe to a lot of these other YouTube toy channels. For one, I just like toys. I like to see other guys' opinions on toys. And this seems to be a character that was on quite a few people's list, and for good reason. It's just Marvel Legends. It's a character that I didn't really think that I need because I have the McFarlane version. When they did it, I realized how good it was. To me, this is a really big stretch for Marvel Legends Hasbro. Like, she's basically very close to naked. tons of new parts. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's an all new figure. I mean, it's close enough. They put enough new stuff on it, or bolted on, or stick on stuff to where I can call it a brand new figure. She's perfectly in scale. I love everything about her. She's pretty much a perfect action figure. And for Hasbro to do this, they really knocked it out of the park. Alright, now here's a figure that a lot of people didn't like. A lot of people chose the SH figure arts, which I also like the SH figure arts. It's just that I'm really into the Mezco thing right now. I'm really into the soft good things right now. I've already spent way too much on toys, and as much as I would like to get the SH figure arts, I just can't see spending another 50 to 80 bucks, whatever she's going for. I figured I would just get one. I think they did a great job. It's Mezco's first female action figure with the soft goods, and I think they really killed it, and I'm really happy to have this figure. I didn't really care for the movie, and I would have liked to have seen this in a comic book version more than a movie version, but for some reason I just really enjoy this action figure, and that's why she's on the list. Alright, so here we have in the number 12 spot, DC Collectibles, DC Icon Batgirl action figure with the motorcycle. For one, this motorcycle is amazing. The stands that it comes with is also amazing. The action figure itself is pretty much a perfect action figure. And with this line, she's a female figure, so I can display her with my icons. I can display her with my DC Collectibles. She kind of fits right in with any place that I want to put her. I got her with the DC icons right now. I'm pretty happy with it up there. But this thing is just really good. Like, one of the things that I really like about this, and Marvel Legends should take note, is the hair blowing in the wind. And if you don't like that, she comes with another head that you don't have to have the hair blowing in the wind. So now Hasbro is doing action figures with motorcycles, but then they don't think to do like a Black Widow with the hair blowing in the wind. Like if you're gonna give me two heads, this is definitely a head that I want. They got the cape up in the air. It's just something when they really pay attention to detail. That's why she's got to be on the list. Alright, now we have the Mezco 112 Classic Daredevil. This thing is pretty much, once again, a perfect action figure. I don't really see how they could have did a better job on this toy. I also like the red one. I just like this one slightly more. It just really stands out on the shelf. I thought they did a great job. As far as that Shadowlands Daredevil goes, to me that was a complete rip-off to all the fans. That doesn't look like Shadowland Daredevil. It was basically the red one and they painted it black. So I passed on that one, but this one is a must-have in your collection if he isn't too expensive on eBay. Alright, so finally up to the number 10 spot. So if you want to say my top 10 list, this is where it would start. I do like all the action figures before it. We got this Marvel Legends Hasbro Boar action figure, came in a Comic-Con exclusive box set. And the thing that sucks about this is it was really hard to come by. It's still really hard to come by. But it's Hasbro Marvel Legends. Most likely they're going to redo this somewhere down the line. It just seems to be the pattern. With this action figure, the reason why I like it so much, he's basically, to me, he looks like a brand new action figure. He doesn't look like an action figure that I already have repainted or retooled. He looks brand new. It's a brand new character in my collection, and I just think this figure is really awesome. Alright, so once again we have Mezco up here on the top 10 list. And this thing, of course Mezco is going to be up here. They do great toys. They're just really expensive toys. The only thing that I don't like about this action figure is that it didn't come with the flame for the flamethrower, and that just seems really stupid to me. But thank God that Boba Fett, my boy Broccoli, took care of that, and now he's complete. Alright, so moving up to the number 8 spot, we have this DC Collectibles Batman animated Batman the Dark Knight. Came with a 3-pack with the mutant gang leader and Robin. And if you don't have this figure in your collection, you're probably not a Batman fan, because this is one of the coolest Batmans that I own. He's really big, really massive. They did a great job on him. Batman animated, the new collection. I'd love to see this line grow. I don't think that it's going to, but they did give us some really cool toys. Okay, so now that Disney took over Star Wars, they really don't do anything cool anymore. They don't do any cool beasts, any cool robots. The ships are a little under scale. So when they do something cool, I definitely want to give them a little recognition for it. This thing was amazing. I couldn't wait to open this thing and get it on my shelf. Like, so when I look at good figures, it's like when I buy a toy and I cannot wait. I can't get that toy home fast enough and get it open. That's when I know I got a good action figure. Like if it's a toy that sits on my floor for like a day or two or a week or two or a month or two, well, then that's obviously not a very good action figure if I'm not excited to get it open. But this thing was, and that's why it's on the list. Alright, so number 6 on my list is once again Marvel Select with this Hulk. And this thing is just amazing. This is the end-all be-all Gladiator Hulk. I love the scale. I basically love almost everything about it. The only thing that I don't like is that they didn't really give him a hand that can hold his axe. And that's the only downfall. So he's pretty much almost a perfect action figure. And I think he's going to be by far the best Gladiator Hulk in your toy room. Okay, so Mezco on the list again. Like, it's kind of unfair comparing $80 toys with $20 toys, but it is what it is. Like, this thing is a great figure, and Mezco doesn't hit it out of the park all the time, but on this Deadpool they did. When I first saw this Deadpool, I didn't really dig it that much. And then when I actually got it, opened it up, played with it, like the costume, it fits in perfect. I love it. It's super fun to play with. Every time I come in here, I usually have to mess with this guy. He's definitely an action figure that I couldn't wait to put on my shelf, so that's why he's on the list. And I think they killed it. If you're a Deadpool fan or a Mezco fan, he's a must-have for your collection. Alright, now in the number 4 spot is this DC Multiverse King Shark. Build-A-Figure, or Collect and Connect, sorry about that. This thing is so freaking awesome. For one, King Shark was a hole in our collection that I could not wait to fill. I liked it so much that I had to get 2 of them for I could display them with both heads. Maybe that's why I spent $9,000 on action figures last year, is because I do stupid stuff like that. Hopefully next year I can cut that price in about half. That will be my New Year's resolution, to spend a little bit less than $9 grand on action figures. This thing, back to the King Shark, I don't really see how they could have improved on him. I love the articulation. The knees are a little weird depending on how you pose them, but all in all, he's a great figure. The scale is great. He looks great in your collection, and it's really nice to have a King Shark finally. So up to the number 3 spot is this Marvel Legends Man-Thing. And this thing, for one, first thing, Man-Thing is one of my favorite characters. So when they redid him, I was super pumped to get him. He looks totally different from the first one. The first one was kind of tall and skinny, which I do really love. And then this one's a little bit more hulky, a lot more mass to him. The only thing that I didn't like about this action figure was they didn't give it a whole lot of love for the paint. My boy Broccoli offered to tune it up for me. He did. I don't really know if this is fair or not by putting him in there. Even if he didn't tune him up, he'd still be in my top 3 list, just because of how much I like this action figure and how much I like this character. Whenever you get a character that is one of your personal favorites, it always means a little bit more to you. Alright, so in the number 2 spot, you have Comic Cave, Gamma, or Striker. Pick one, it doesn't really matter. They're basically the same exact action figure, painted different. I basically just pulled them both out in case you like one more than the other. I really like them both about the same. I think the green detail is great, just to have a green Iron Man. Then I also think the yellow one looks kind of like a construction worker, so I think that one's great too. These things are real die cast. They light up. I actually got a pretty decent deal on them for like 86 bucks each, which I think that's pretty cheap on something like this. To have this quality of action figure in your 1/12 scale collection is just amazing. And I hold Comic Cave very high. I hope they come back next year and give us a few more figures, but if they don't, I'll be saving money, so I guess I'll be good either way. Alright, so if you watch my videos, you probably know that this was coming. This is why I said it's going to be an all-in-one. It's going to be ships, vehicles, collect and connects, Build-A-Figures, whatever, just in one video for a top 21 toys of the year. And this thing is by far the best toy that I got in 17. It's probably the best toy that I have ever bought in my entire life. This thing is amazing. $250, totally worth it. I know a lot of guys are picking this up on clearance right now for $150. If you see it, definitely pick this up. It's really nice to have in your collection. Alright, so in this video, I'm not going to do what a lot of other guys did, where they go, well, this is my list, this is just my list. No, I'm saying this is the list. These are the best toys of 2017. And if you don't think so, please let me know in the comments below, because I am definitely looking forward to a little interaction with you guys, because I know that a lot of these toys won't be on your list, but they are definitely on my list, and I definitely think that these are the best toys of 2017. So there it is. Like always, thanks for watching. It's been a great year. I spent way too much. New Year's resolution for next year: spend less than $9 grand on action figures. Thank you guys so much, and thanks for watching.